Now, does that mean that this one thing metamorph from one thing to another? That thing stayed the same. It depends on who was looking at it, depended on its worth. You know, whenever we were first married, we had a couch. It was about enough to sit on. That was pretty much about it. But Mom, she decided that her couch was old. It was junk. We need to get rid of it. And she was going to get a new one. Well, they ended up giving that couch to us. For them, it was old, junky, and it was trash. For us, man, that was a major upgrade. Because instead of just a couch to sit on that was just almost like sitting on boards, we had something that had cushions in it. And it had a fold-out bed that was in it. Recliner on the side. That was a major upgrade. Did that couch change from one thing to another? It was the same couch in both houses. It's just how everyone looked upon it. Another example is, does anyone here ever went on one of those cruises on the ocean? Well, when you're there, they have a life vest for you. What did you think of that life vest? Did you wear it around wherever you went? Or was it just throw it in the cabin somewhere in the corner because I don't need that thing. It's gaudy, it's heavy, it gets in the way, we'll just throw it over there. And while everything is just smooth sailing, you know, if someone came to you and it's like, hey, could I have that life jacket? You go, sure, all it's doing is sitting in the corner, you gladly give it to them. But if that ship started sinking, would you just give that life jacket away? No, that thing increased in value dramatically. You want to wear that thing now. It doesn't matter how gaudy it looks, how big and bulky, you're ready to put it on. The thing that changed was circumstance. So, things change in value. But there's one thing that always stays in priceless. But do we fully recognize it? How many times do we have something that is worth so much more than what we think it is? Or we forget the worth that it is? Has anyone seen Antique Roadshow? I like watching it every so often because it's really neat, some of the things that just come across through there. Well, back in 2010, they were down in Miami Beach, and this lady brought in a mid-20th century mobile. You know, those little things that hang above the crib. Well, this one was made by an American sculptor, Alexander Calder. Now, she had them look at it, and I've seen pictures of it. It's nothing to talk about, I'll tell you that much. But when it was appraised for between $400,000 and $600,000. Here they had this little thing that was passed down through the family. And she thought, I'll just bring it there and just see. Boy, she was amazed whenever they priced that. And then it was reappraised again in 2021. It's now valued at $2 million. What a treasure she had that she didn't really know she had. Now, let me ask you, do you think that mobile still hangs above the crib? I'm sure it's stuffed somewhere safe. But some treasures people just seem to stumble upon. But some people look hard for treasure. They're out there looking hard for that thing to just really stand out. The one thing they really want and need. How long do people look for treasure? Well, in France, they had this treasure hunt called the Chouette d'Or. It was back in 1993. A guy named Max Valentine started this treasure hunt. It was a little owl that was made of gold, silver, and diamonds. This little owl was worth $165,000. And he hid it somewhere. And then put out a list of clues for people to try to find it. This was back in 1993. In 2024, it was finally found. 31 years people searched for it. Countless numbers of people searched for it. But then it was finally found. That's a long time to be searching for a treasure, don't you think? But when you know there is a treasure out there, you want to find it. What would you do to find a treasure that is just so much you can't even hardly comprehend it? I would look my whole life for that treasure until I found it. How about you all? But this treasure that some people may not see, it's not hard to find. Some people look hard for the treasure, like in the parable of the pearl. And some people seem to stumble upon it, like the parable of the hidden treasure. In both cases, they sold everything they had to own that treasure. When you have that treasure, you don't want to give it up. Treasures of this world, people will do everything to keep it safe. Have you ever watched any of those movies on something valuable and the robbers trying to get in? They don't make it easy for him. He has to get around all the guards. Then he has to turn off all the lasers that are going everywhere. Then he has bars that he either has to saw through or find his way around. And then there's a glass case over top of it. Most of the time it's easy to just break it. But worldly treasure, people want to secure it with everything they can. But let me tell you about a treasure that cannot be taken from you. The key to that treasure is Jesus Christ. He is the key that gets you into heaven. Do you see heaven as your treasure? Do you see Jesus Christ as the key to that treasure? I sure hope you do. Some people might think it to be trash. But for me, that is my treasure. Now, do we always treat that treasure as the treasure it really is? Or is it like that life jacket? It kind of sits into the corner until circumstances come up and you put that treasure back on. This treasure should be there always. The main thing in your head, because that is what we are living for. I hope all of us have found this treasure and then treat it as the treasure it is. We should always know that. treasure is around here, whatever earthly treasures we have, remember, when it comes to the end of this life in this world, what is all the treasures of this world going to do for you? Nothing. But the treasure of heaven, of Jesus Christ, that's the one to hang on to. Because at that point in your life, that is the only thing that you need to know. So hang on to that treasure. Keep it in your mind always. Because we never know when that end might come. Treat him as the treasure he is. Treat heaven as the treasure it is. And once you have it, no one can take that away from you. As a matter of fact, that's a treasure you want to share with other people. Show them where the treasure is. So hopefully they can have it too. Just remember, this treasure through Jesus can change this world. Once we have it, that is where our hearts should always be. Always keep that in mind. This treasure is the most important thing. And as it says in Matthew 6, verses 21, for where your treasure is, there your heart will be too. Does your heart show where your treasure is? Can people see where your heart is at? Do they know that you have that treasure?